faithfully delivering value, interpreting great books worldwide. Hello, this is Sally's Book Talk. Today we're diving into the book Hair, A Fun History of Humanity. Mentioning hair, you might have lots of questions. Like, the hair loss issue modern folks worry about. Will daily shedding make you go bald? Why are men more prone to baldness? Is baldness really caused by high stress? How can we care for hair to prevent hair loss? The book we're exploring today is a popular science work all about hair. The author, Stern, is a world authority on hair research. He was a professor at Yale University School of Medicine and skin biology director at Johnson & Johnson. Years of scientific experience give him a deep, unique understanding of hair. In this book, he covers hair growth, care tips, cultural aspects, and how hair drives global trade, giving us a well-rounded view. In this book, the author answers 4 key questions about hair. First, how does hair grow? Second, how to care for hair scientifically. Third, how do barbers become skilled? Fourth, what value does hair hold? Now, let's tackle the first question. How does hair actually grow out? By knowing the hair growth process, you'll understand when it grows and when it falls out. Your worries about hair loss. We hit the barber shop regularly, showing hair never stops growing. But actually, hair is mostly made of keratinized dead cells, with no blood vessels or living cells. So how does hair grow out then? It's a complex biological process. Hair starts from follicles on the scalp, made of slender cells in 3 nested layers, like Russian dolls, with outer layers for support and protection. And good old bold fowl, the innermost layer is the hair shaft. The main part we see is hair. Whether human or animal follicle cells, their growth is cyclical. This cycle has 3 stages. First, the growth phase, with active cell division at the follicle base. As bottom cells multiply, new ones push upward, and the hair shaft emerges from the follicle. The longer it takes for new cells to form at the base, the longer the follicle's growth phase lasts, and thus the longer the hair grows. Under normal conditions, the growth phase of a follicle on the scalp can last about 2 to 6 years. If you don't cut your hair during this period, it might grow over 1 meter long, unlike hair in other areas, such as eyebrows and eyelashes. The reason they're so short is that their follicles have a shorter growth phase, usually only about 30 days. In other words, it only takes a month for a new eyelash to grow. The second stage is the regression phase. When hair reaches a certain length, the follicle stops producing hair stem cells, halting growth. Cells at the base shrivel like raisins, gradually atrophy, and enter regression. At this point, the hair is like rootless grass, easily falling out. The regression phase is often brief, lasting only a few days. The third stage is the dormant phase. The follicle rests and enters self-protection mode, where hair naturally sheds. Dormancy can last months. In many animals, follicles go dormant in cold winters to conserve protein. When weather warms and nutrients are plentiful, new growth signals emerge, ending dormancy and restarting the growth phase. A normal adult scalp has about 100,000 follicle cells, with hair growing in a cycle of ebb and flow.
At any given time, about 85% of follicles are in growth, 1% in regression, and 14% in dormancy, so hair shedding is normal.
About 50 to 100 hairs fall out daily. If you notice a lot of hair falling out while washing, don't worry about hair loss problems. Washing hair just helps hair that's about to shed leave the scalp sooner. New hair will still grow from the follicles. As long as the number of new hairs matches those falling out, hair volume stays balanced. However, if follicles get fungal infections or hormonal influences, it can cause excessive shedding, leading to patchy baldness or bald spots. So, it's like a water tank where outflow exceeds inflow. Over time, it dries up, and that's when some people panic. To avoid premature or excessive hair loss, we need to care for hair scientifically. So, this is the second question we're covering today. How to scientifically care for your hair in this part. We'll discuss what factors affect follicle health, how to prevent these issues, and the right daily care methods. To have thick, beautiful hair, you need to keep follicles in the growth phase and avoid premature regression. Many factors can affect follicle health. There are three common factors. One is microbial infection, two is mental stress, and three is hormonal influence. First, let's talk about microbial infection. The scalp, like other skin, is prone to bacterial or fungal infections from the environment. Contact with unsanitary pillows or scratching that damages the scalp can let germs in. Moreover, because the scalp isn't easy to clean, the chance of infection is higher. Some actinomycetes and fungi can attach to hair, secrete proteases to break down proteins, causing hair to gradually fall out. Eventually, patches of bare scalp appear, known as tinea capitis. There's also a fungus called malassezia, which causes significant irritation to the scalp, leading to inflammation like redness and pustules, resulting in seborrheic dermatitis. Over time, this damages follicle cells, causing severe hair loss, which the second influencing factor is mental stress. Scientists designed an animal experiment to understand how stress affects hair growth. They used high-frequency noise to mentally attack adult mice every 15 seconds for 24 hours. The study found that this stress disrupted the mice's hair growth cycle, causing follicles to enter regression prematurely. If they blocked the skin nerves in mice, preventing the skin from receiving stress signals from the brain, the follicles weren't affected by the noise. We said, so it's the nervous system that transmits stress signals to the skin, affecting follicles and leading to premature hair loss. This experiment clearly shows that mental stress can seriously damage follicle health. Lastly, androgens, male hormones, are also something to watch out for. All cells live in a sea of hormones, and follicle cells are no exception. The hormone that affects follicle cells most is androgens. Regardless of gender, women also have androgens, just in lower amounts than men. Androgens inhibit follicle growth. Under continuous stimulation by androgens, male follicles gradually degenerate, eventually becoming like other skin cells. Men with higher androgen levels are more prone to baldness in middle age, so males have a significantly higher baldness rate than females. Understanding these principles shows you how to care for hair scientifically. First, maintain personal hygiene to isolate bacteria and fungi. Provide a clean growth environment for your hair. Second, focus on stress relief to prevent long-term disruption to follicles. Third, maintain endocrine stability. Quit smoking, limit alcohol, exercise moderately to create a healthy hormonal environment for follicle cells. Additionally, remember hair needs nutrients too. Since it's protein-based, like muscles, it requires ample protein supply. Only with good health and proper nutrition can you grow beautiful hair. Daily care handles the rest. Brushing is hair's most important task, but don't overdo it. Overbrushing strips the protective cuticle. Without the cuticle, hair becomes like exposed sushi, swelling, deforming, with filament cells splaying outward, causing split ends. Since hair is dead cells, once split, cutting is the only fix. Overwashing has similar issues. Shampoo cleans but strips natural oils, leaving hair brittle and dry. This makes brushing more damaging. Compensate with hair oil to restore softness and prevent splitting. Conditioner also protects effectively. Conditioner contains rod-shaped molecules. One end attaches to hair shafts. The other has positive charges. This repels strands, preventing tangles and reducing brushing damage. Hair dyeing is another common issue. While meant to enhance attractiveness, results can backfire. With chemical industry advances, long-lasting hair dyes emerged that penetrate the hair shaft surface, reaching deep inside to fundamentally change hair color. To achieve this, dyeing often requires adding oxidizers first to soften the cuticle for pigment penetration. Simultaneously, it breaks down the original melanin structure to fade existing color before adding new pigments. And after penetrating the cuticle, pigment binds to cells in the hair core for recoloring. Finally, washing and drying restores pH to neutral, sealing the cuticle to lock pigment inside, preventing washout. This process causes permanent damage. Hair becomes fragile, brittle, coarse, and loses elasticity. So, Proper hair care means minimizing dyeing. Sometimes leaving it alone is the best protection. For the second question, scientific hair care means clean scalp, stress hormone management, plus avoiding excessive brushing, washing, dyeing. Hair oils and conditioners effectively improve hair quality. For beautiful hair, daily home care isn't enough. We need skilled barbers. Part 3 explores how barbers are trained. Beautiful hair isn't just decoration, it symbolizes health. People invest time styling it, but DIY falls short. That's when barbers step in. Barbering as a formal profession originated in the West. Fascinated historical revelation. Interestingly, barbers evolved from doctors, specifically witch doctors, clergy who chanted spells during treatments, sometimes drilling skulls for bloodletting. Hair trimming preceded drilling. Thus, ancients saw hair cutting and healing as similar work, both treating the body. Until 1215, when the Roman Catholic Church barred clergy from surgery, this meant they abandoned hair cutting too, and professional barbers emerged. They wielded sharp scissors, with some still doubling as surgeons. That's why some say barbers are the forefathers of surgeons. As time progressed, the professional divide between surgeons and barbers widened. In 1745, surgeons founded the Surgeons Guild, while barbers established the Barbers Guild, marking their complete separation. Both organizations remain active today, though few know about barbers' strange historical ties to surgeons. Only the barber's pole outside hints at this past. It originally symbolized bloodletting procedures.
Surgeons later abandoned this symbol, but barbers kept using it.
In 2011, Pennsylvania even legally required barbershops to display the pole indicating their services. China has no such regulations, but barbershops adopted the practice anyway. Barbering has lower entry barriers than surgery, but professional training remains essential. In early 20th century America, aspiring barbers apprenticed under guild masters for 7 years, demonstrated skills to the committee, and needed guild approval to practice. During training, they learned ritualistic techniques. For example, barbers reclined customers, wetted necks with warm, soapy water, unfolded straight razors, and honed them on polished leather strops. Then they'd shave beards clean. Modern barber training takes about a year, practicing on mannequins with wigs at specialized schools before working on volunteers. They also study physiology, pathology, and master shaving, shampooing, cutting, dyeing, and perming techniques. After completing required credits, they become professional barbers. Hair's economic value extends beyond hairstyling. It holds rich additional worth. Part 4 explores hair's value. We'll cover its worth as wigs, keepsakes, and historical records. First, let's talk about the wig industry. Modern folks wear wigs mostly because thinning hair or baldness looks unattractive. But in ancient times, wearing wigs symbolized status and prestige. As early as ancient Egypt, upper classes started wearing wigs. They'd shave their heads, then put on wigs. Later, wig wearing spread to Europe, where Greek and Roman nobles enthusiastically adopted the trend. Some Roman noblewomen even kept blonde-haired slaves to guarantee their golden wig supply. By the Middle Ages, wigs declined in popularity until 1624, when bald King Louis XIII revived them as fashion. He wore a long, wavy dark wig, becoming the first emperor since ancient Egypt to do so. Status-conscious nobles followed suit. Wig styles multiplied, and demand soon outstripped supply. France even established the Wig Guild in 1665 to ensure uninterrupted wig supplies.
Upper-class wigs were incredibly extravagant, covering not just heads but backs, too.
Some shaped wigs like ships or bird cages to flaunt wealth, even dusting them with flour for pale sophistication. These oversized wigs were hard to clean, nutrient-rich. They bred bacteria, fungi, even mice, causing skin diseases. Yet people still clamored for them. After all, they signaled status and rank. This new wig craze lasted nearly 2 centuries in Europe, until the French Revolution, when nobles lost their heads, and their wigs vanished too. Later, wigs gradually became accessible to common people. Some choose wigs for medical reasons to conceal health conditions. Others wear them for religious purposes, as wigs impart solemnity. Some treat wigs as fashion statements, while performers actors, clowns, use them for shows. Different purposes mean different qualities. Materials fall into 3 grades: premium human hair, medium-grade animal hair, and low-grade synthetic fibers. Among premium human hair are the finest quality. Asian hair tops the list, jet black, straight, and resilient, making it highly sought after. In contrast, African hair ranks lowest, fragile and too soft for styling. Europeans prefer blonde wigs, but supply is scarce since few blondes sell their hair. Vendors substitute Asian hair, bleaching black strands and dyeing them popular colors. Many blondes actually wear such wigs. So where does human hair come from? Some vendors collect hair door to door from impoverished women or buy from barbershops.
Additionally, customs in specific regions provide ample supply.
For example, Indian women offer hair as temple sacrifices to seek divine blessings. Temples then sell hair to merchants, who clean and disinfect it to remove contaminants and bacteria. After rinsing and drying, it's categorized by color and style, then priced based on texture and length. The priciest is virgin hair, never dyed or treated, with intact cuticles that's easy to maintain. Human hair wigs are manageable but scarce. With rising demand, animal hair became an alternative. Cow, horse, and wool wigs exist. Wool wigs even became a significant trade segment.
But unethical sellers often mislabeled these as human hair to deceive buyers.
Both share keratin composition, making them hard to distinguish. Compared to animal hair, manufacturers prefer industrially produced synthetic fibers. They're abundant and cheap, but struggle for market acceptance.
Synthetics lack hair's texture and shine, looking unnatural, defeating the wig's purpose of subtlety.
Another downside, low melting points mean blow dryers can melt them. Despite this, synthetic wigs still have a market. They're abundant and cheap, beloved by circus clowns at least. Wigs' existence fully proves hair's commercial value. Beyond that, hair has unexpected additional value as keepsakes. In 2007, a lock of Che Guevara's hair auctioned for $119,500, 10 times Lincoln's hair value.
A hair lock isn't worth that much. Otherwise, we'd have cash growing on our heads.
What's valuable is the cultural significance attached. In ancient Eastern cultures, hair represented the soul. Owning someone's hair meant owning part of their body. Thus, harming hair was believed to harm the person. Hence, witches cast spells on hair to control its owner. Ancient Chinese cut hair locks for lovers as loyalty pledges. The West had similar customs, using hair as love tokens. After her husband's death, Queen Victoria carried his hair in a locket to cherish his memory. 19th century Americans also believed hair conveyed friendship and love, giving it special meaning. When a shy boy asked for a girl's hair, it was essentially a marriage proposal. Given this complex value, Renaissance Europeans sold famous people's hair as souvenirs. Artisans cleaned and dried hair, shaping it artistically or grinding it into paint mixtures, commanding high prices. By mid-19th century, hair art flourished across Europe, adored by women. Later, photography's rise diminished hair art's commemorative value until it vanished. Yet hair's added value persists. It carries personal data as a biological record.
Today, like fingerprints, hair helps police solve crimes. Its DNA is extracted and matched to databases to identify suspects.
Sometimes hair matters more than fingerprints. Criminals might erase prints but can't avoid shedding hair. Hair's advantage is longevity. Dried, it can preserve for centuries. A Swedish doctor analyzed Napoleon's hair, found high arsenic levels, concluding he died of poisoning. The poisoner could have been a Republican royalist or Napoleon's attendant. Hair couldn't pinpoint the exact culprit. Some argue Napoleon's arsenic came from environmental pollution, not poison.
Besides arsenic, tests revealed abnormal bromine, iron, mercury, potassium, and other elements.
Why can hair record so much information? Because follicles produce new cells daily that join the hair shaft, these cells document the owner's daily health and blood chemistry. Like tree rings, hair logs life's journey. Drugs or heavy metals leave permanent imprints. Advancing technology will reveal these records with increasing clarity. Someday we might read human evolution history from a single strand. All right, that concludes our hair stories. This book proves even mundane things have fascinating histories. The author believes biotechnology will solve baldness through follicle research.
Soon, everyone will have gorgeous hair styled perfectly by robot barbers.
Then we'll view hair completely differently. That's our interpretation of hair. Notes are below. See you next time.